The Enterprise, on a routine mapping mission, runs into an old friend. Well, not in body, but in voice. It's the Corbomite maneuver. Next.
Hi everybody, I'm Chip Kocel.
I'm John Whitney. How you doing?
Hey, and this is Edith Keeler's Edge of Forever Bar and Grill. Welcome aboard. Thanks for joining us. The bar's open.
Hey, real quick, just want to know if you like what you see, please subscribe. Punch that bell so whenever we upload a new video, you guys will get a notification. And we really like to hear what you think about the show. So talk about it. Make comments. We'll return comments every once in a while. Most of the time we pretty much either put a heart or we say something to people back.
Yeah. I try to reply.
Yeah, we try.
Yeah.
We try. And remember, it's very important to know that we are fans, not experts. So we are not going to be this like clinical, beat by beat kind of review of the Corbomite maneuver or any other episode, but just bear with us. We have a little bit of whiskey, even though it may screw up our analytics. Who knows? We don't know. But anyway, we enjoy ourselves.
Yeah, that's the point. I hope you do too.
Yeah. So this episode is the Corbomite maneuver.
Yes, the Corbomite maneuver. That's right.
The Enterprise is they're on a mapping mission.
Yeah, they're going out, and we find out right away, thanks to Bailey. He's like, ugh, this is so boring. Lieutenant Bailey guy.
2 days of this.
3 days. Hasn't anybody ever been here taking pictures of the stars before? And Spock's like, no one's ever gone this far before, Mr. Bailey.
And suddenly they discover that there is something approaching.
Yeah.
So they kind of get into not red alert, but at least in caution, right, or whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
And the thing gets closer and closer, and it's like this weird cube, just kind of spinning around.
Yeah. And Spock is like doing his old deflectors at full intensity.
I know, this is the old Spock.
Yeah.
So what you said this was an early...
Production-wise, this is one of the early third one in that they were producing, but it didn't get aired till the 9th or 10th one.
Right.
And that is because the special effects were kind of like taking too long. They were kind of complicated for them at the time.
Yeah. And you can kind of tell too with the lighting and stuff too. It's a little darker, a little more moodier, especially on the bridge.
Yeah.
A lot of more shadows across people's faces and things, but you can definitely tell that it's early on in the production.
And so they try to get around the cube, and the navigator Bailey's like, they're blocking our way, and Spock's like, no need to yell, Mr. Bailey.
Yeah. After he yells like, chill, full inflection.
Yeah.
Take the picture now.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Exactly. So then it goes to the opening credits and a break, and
so we come out of commercial, and there's what?
Yeah, the captain's log talking about star mapping. We're in sick bay, and Kirk is getting a physical, and he's like doing this futuristic exercise machine.
Yeah, some kind of weird, like with the legs.
Cubes pushing the legs of the. He's like, you're killing me! You're killing me, Doc!
Yeah, and then McCoy is just kind of enjoying. Basically, he's putting him through this mess.
Yeah, this physical, getting his heart rate up. He notices that there's a red alert too, but doesn't. He's like,
just keeps going.
Yeah, a few more minutes, and then finally he gives him a break, and he lets him out of that machine thing. Kirk gets up, shirtless, by the way, and this is like, what did I say, the 4th time he was shirtless
Something like
so far?
Yeah, but he's pretty bold about his shirtlessness.
Yeah, this is the 4th episode by the air date in which Captain Kirk appears bare-chested.
Right.
So there you go.
So he goes to the communications console, and he tells them,
Spock here!
Yeah. And he says, there's something that is in front of us, that we've encountered some kind of a ship.
Yeah, and he shows him the cube.
Yeah, so basically he says, okay, I'll be right up there. So he basically just kind of puts on a towel, and he puts on the shirt like over his shoulders, and he's starting to get out. He's like going, what, a red alert happened? You wouldn't even tell me? And McCoy's like...
He's like, you don't think you couldn't finish your physical, huh? Yeah, he's like, glad that he could finally get Kirk to do his physical. It's pretty funny.
I'm a doctor, not a moon shuttle pilot.
Yes, that was hilarious. Yeah, that's the first time we see that incarnation of him saying things like that.
It's pretty funny. And he walks out the door, he's like going, if I jumped every time I saw flashing lights, I'd be talking to myself.
Yeah, exactly. That is hilarious.
Which is exactly what he was doing in that room by himself.
Exactly. Yeah, and then Kirk takes off. He walks through the hallway. He gets on the turbo lift, and he has a discussion again with Spock.
Yeah, is there any danger? Are we in any danger at the moment?
And he goes, "Well, I'm going to change first." So he goes and changes. Decides not to go to the bridge bare-chested.
Yeah, because he's walking down the hallway earlier before he walks into the elevator, whatever the wonkavator I call it. And he's just got his shirt, his chest open, bare feet. He's grabbing his boots. It's really weird. He didn't want to mess with time. He just didn't want to put his shoes on.
Yeah. He's just out there.
Takes too long.
They're at the bridge now with Spock and Bailey have an exchange. But Bailey's like, "Hey, I'm sorry, I yelled earlier back there. I have a little thing called an adrenaline gland."
Oh yeah, that's a pity. Perhaps you should get it removed.
And then Kirk comes on the bridge. And it's this weird handheld shot. We don't see this angle much, going right from the so far we haven't. Yeah.
I'm trying to think what they probably used for that shot, and my guess is an Airy 2B.
Really? You think it was an Airy 2B?
Yeah, because it's a very small Aeroflex camera, and it's handheld. It's very lightweight, and they were available. I mean, old
back
Nazi
in the 60s.
camera.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a German camera.
Or not to be.
Yeah, probably wasn't a Nazi camera. Probably wasn't a Nazi camera. But that's the only thing I can think of that they really used a lot back then. Anyway.
And they shot film, too. So
they shot film.
And this was kind of a dark episode, but it was also humorous. They had a lot of humor. It had that Kirk humor in it.
A little bit.
There was a lot of interesting, funny moments.
Yeah. So
he goes onto the bridge and he wants a report from his department heads.
And he has a little exchange with. I don't think McCoy's there yet. He just hasn't stepped in.
No, McCoy comes in to give his report after Scotty.
Yes.
Scotty says, "I don't know what it is, and won't give me a guess. I'll buy one of those guesses. I can't sell you a guess."
Yeah.
And then McCoy basically says, "Same thing. They don't know what it is. They don't know what the power is or
no idea
who's on it. It's just a cube floating in front of the ship."
Yeah.
And then Mr. Bailey says,
I vote we blast it.
Yeah, I vote we blast it. And Kirk's hilarious. He's like, "Oh, thank you for the input, Mr. Bailey. If this ever becomes a democracy, we'll consider it." Mind.
Every once in a while during the show, he kind of gives Bailey this kind of look like a young, what the hell, young guy.
Yeah, so then we should get a nice exterior shot of the cube and the ship, and the effects are really great as usual. We don't even have to go over that again, or how many times we talk about the effects, but they're really awesome.
Yeah, they're really well done.
Yeah, there's a captain's log, and then we're in a conference room, and then everybody's talking in the conference room. Spock, he asks Spock, "Well, what is it? What do you think it is?" Spock's like, "Well, it's two things, possibilities, Captain. It's either a space buoy or flypaper."
What does Kirk says? He says, "So you don't want to stick around?"
Yeah. That's one of those things where it's like a nice little joke.
Hilarious.
And it's done it's really funny. Yeah, Bailey just wants to shoot phasers. He wants to shoot from the hip, and he goes, "Mr. Bailey," and he goes, "Phaser crew." He gets right on there.
Like,
"Get ready."
Whoa,
he's like, "Oh, hang on, partner."
Exactly.
It's like,
hold your horses.
Yeah.
Basically. But he says his plan is to basically he wants to do a circular pattern, trying to pull away from.
Yeah, spiral course away from the
they're
cube.
going to try to break away from the cube. So now we go to the bridge.
Yeah, they start to do the course correction. They're trying to back away or spiral away, and it starts getting closer. The cube starts getting closer.
Yeah, really close, to where it's like dangerous. I mean, Spock keeps speaking out like radiation intensity 5 blah blah blah. I don't know what he says, but I should have wrote it down. It gets down to like 50 meters or something like that.
Yeah,
that's
really
super
close. Yeah,
and that's only I think isn't a meter basically 3 feet.
Yeah, something
roughly.
like that. Yeah.
So it's like 150 feet off the bow.
Right, which is
there.
super close.
Really close.
And it's getting closer, and the radiation is building. And Spock is like, radiation exceeding tolerance levels.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing, you know?
And so so Kirk is like, lock phasers, Bailey. And then Bailey's just sitting there staring, man. He's just completely out of it, and he's kind of scared.
Yeah, and the noise of the episode is really loud. Like, the music is intense, and it's just crazy.
Lock phasers, Bailey! And Bailey finally wakes up, and so they fire phasers. And
point blank range, and it blows up. The ship gets shook.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, and then it goes to a break. Then we go to a commercial break.
Yeah, so we're assuming it got destroyed.
Yeah.
Not the Enterprise.
Right, and then we come back, and it's an exterior, a nice long shot of the Enterprise just still in space. And from that exterior shot, we go to the bridge, and they're trying to figure out what the next move is.
Right, but before he leaves, he says to Bailey and Sulu, listen, you guys were slow on the uptake. We have to go. So I want you to run all these simulations so you guys are sharp as attack. And then he leaves.
Yeah. And then they get on the turbo lift.
Him and McCoy.
And McCoy, yeah. And McCoy's like taking him to his quarters, and they're talking about Bailey being young and reminding him of Kirk, kind of thing.
Right. You're pushing him too hard. He's under a lot of pressure right now. Listen to him.
Yeah. There's voice. Audio. You hear the audio of the scenarios. They're running these simulations.
Right.
And you hear Bailey and Sulu and over the intercom while they're in the turbo lift. They break up some time by cutting to exterior shot of space, and then they're cut to interior Kirk's quarters,
right.
And Bones is pouring some futuristic drink. You know.
It reminds me of Pike in the original Doctor, the gray-haired old guy who was like. They just hung out and drank. It doesn't matter in the middle of any kind of thing. Yeah. They just destroyed an alien, and of course, got to blow off some steam with some booze.
And they're having a conversation that's very reminiscent of that one. Like talking about like the experiences of Bailey.
Right.
Even the sexism of the time, like women on the Enterprise, comes up a little later when Rand comes in.
Yeah, Rand comes in. He's like, what's going on? He's like, going, here's your food. And he's like, going, leaves?
Yeah. Rand says, Dr. McCoy ordered your dietary card changed. And he goes, I noticed you put on a little weight. That's your last physical. Jim.
Remember?
Yeah.
You're a fat ass, remember?
Yeah, he's like, damn. Get McCoy one. And McCoy's like, no, I don't eat before the crew.
Exactly.
He's like getting himself out of that. Rand gets dismissed.
She just grabs it by his hands.
And he's like, whoever at Starfleet decided to give me a female yeoman. That kind of thing.
Yeah, McCoy's like, what do you mean? You don't trust yourself?
Yeah, and that was an odd moment, John. Did you notice that? Like, afterwards, it kind of like...
It was.
What do they
weird.
mean by that? You
know what? But
he's going to be sexually attracted to her.
Yeah. Well, they were kind of trying to set up some kind of a dynamic between him and Rand.
Right, and this is early on.
But in earlier episodes, he had stated that he would never do anything with the crewmen because of his, basically. He's the captain.
Yeah, and he said, I already have a girl. Her name's Enterprise.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly why he does it.
And this is an early episode, so they're setting that up, helping set that up with Rand.
Set that up, yeah.
You hear the alerts, then Sulu's like, this is not a drill. Condition red. And then he's like, all right, what's going on? He goes, another ship is coming, sir. Some kind of thing. So he books up to the bridge. They're on the bridge, and Spock says, we have another object coming much larger. Yeah. And this giant-ass, huge sphere thing made up of ping pong balls.
I know, and I like the music when it's kind of easing up to the ship. Yeah, he's like boo, 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 boo. Is that how it goes?
Yeah, exactly.
Boo, boo, boo. It's like very deep,
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it's very like, this thing is huge. And Spock is like going, it's off my charts, it's so big.
Yeah, he's like, at least a mile in diameter, sir. And then it's like fills the screen. It comes right up to the Enterprise. There's a cool exterior shot of the ship and the Enterprise, and the ship comes right up. And
he's like Bailey.
Let me see the whole thing. And Bailey's just frozen there. And finally, Sulu's like,
I know, Bailey.
Magnitude 0.4, Captain. Exactly. Magnitude 1.58. I don't even know what magnification that means, though.
1.85.
I don't know what that means. Do you know what that means?
I just maybe I don't
focal length or something.
Width of the lens.
So we get to look at the image on the screen, so Kirk can see the whole thing.
Yeah, and Bailey, they're like trying to make communication with him or something like that. Yeah. But Bailey, they're talking, and Bailey is like got this earpiece on. He's like, I've got something on my
navigation
beam or whatever.
Whatever that means.
And then Ahura, who's in a gold outfit, by the way.
Yeah.
She pipes it through to the bridge, and it's this person named Balok.
Yeah, and this is their old friend Balok, the voice.
That's right.
Remember, like at your tease at the beginning of the show?
Yeah, his name is, what the hell is his name? Oh, Ted Cassidy.
Cassidy does the voice.
Who played the giant in one of the earlier episodes. I forget the name.
The giant robot.
What
are little girls made of?
Yes, what are little girls made of? And it's him. And also he was in the Addams Family.
Lurch from the Addams Family, yeah.
So he's like, you will be destroyed. You know, that kind of thing.
It's like, I am Balok. Yeah, of the First Federation.
Yeah, First Federation.
We don't get to see him talking, so there's no matching up lip sync. Darn it, with that voice. That'd be cool, though.
That would be cool. They should have just used him.
I know, right?
Although he would be recognizable. People would say, oh, that's that big robot dude.
Yeah.
From What Little Girls Are Made Of.
Yeah.
So he's basically warning him, you guys destroyed our ship and
you ignored the warning buoy.
That's right.
And now you must be destroyed.
Well, he's like release a warning buoy, right? And Bailey's still like
release it was a let me look this up.
It was a
recorder marker.
They're
going to release a recorder marker, right?
And he's slow to the uptake, and he's like, Bailey, do it. And
then
he's
Sulu
like,
to the rescue.
No. He actually
did. Bailey do it?
He actually did. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Yes. Buoy released.
Okay.
And then it's destroyed automatically, and they think we have destroyed your recording beacon buoy.
Recorder marker.
Recorder marker.
Yeah.
We assume you have a deity or some sort of god. Whatever.
It brings you comfort.
Brings you comfort. And he's like, pray to your god. Anyway.
yeah. And then Spock meantime is trying to find a way to get a picture of him to see what he looks like.
So he says, you have 10 Earth minutes.
Yeah. So he's searching all the Instagram accounts and Facebook accounts for Balok.
Yeah.
Bones walks in. He walks onto the bridge and takes his spot, and he walks right by one of these guys that's like a Teamster guy. Remember him? Guy holding a weird, slide ruler thing.
Right. And you have information on that slide ruler.
Yeah, and that slide rule is an actual circular slide rule that pilots use to calculate distance and wind speed and time and fuel consumption when they're just before they take off. So I don't know why he has it on a spaceship, but the whole idea behind the show is there's a team of people working on a ship. The Enterprise is a character as well, and he got that from being on a bomber. The bomber was a character in his life because they were all closely knit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he after that whole thing with him giving Kirk addresses the crew.
Yeah, because
says, "Hey, let's not be. We have nothing to fear but fear itself," kind of thing.
Yeah, because everybody heard it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, everyone
heard it.
So he's got to address the crew.
So he's addressing the crew, and he says, "Hey, there's no such thing as the unknown. There's only that which we have not have an understanding of, or something."
Yeah, it was something to the effect of
basically. We have nothing to fear but fear itself, kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's like one of those kind of speeches. And we see shots of the crew stopping in the hallway, and there's two red shirt, a couple about to hold hands.
Did they bang? Mm-hmm. Did they?
Oh, hey, I don't know.
We don't know. No,
I think he wants to.
Probably.
I don't think he did, though.
Well, the two guys, they're just walking around. Two crew people.
Yeah,
that's okay.
The guy pining over her,
Yeah, there's very little, there's not much room for did they bang.
Yeah.
I might have one later, too.
Yeah. Yeah, so he says so Kirk's speech ends with, the greatest danger facing us is ourselves.
Yeah.
So that ends the ship, and he reaches out to Balok by doing a ship-to-ship with Uhura. Says, "Hey, patch me through." He says, "This is the captain seeking friendship. Blah blah blah. We can leave now."
It starts happening. Almost like it was an electronic talk to the hand moment with Balok and the ship.
Yeah, an electronic version of woo. Exactly. It's like, okay, whoa.
Not listening.
You are wasting time and effort. There is no escape. You have 8 Earth minutes, Balok.
Yeah.
Then Bailey freaks out.
Yeah, he's like, "What are we doing? You're wasting your time with all this stuff." What does he want? And he's
freaking out. He's like, we got 8 minutes. And then Sulu goes 7 minutes, 43 seconds. Oh, he's doing a countdown, for crying out loud.
What are you, a bunch of robots? Can't you see what's happening here? And Kirk is like going, you're relieved, Bailey.
Yeah, and he gets him out of there. It's like books. So, Bones takes him out.
Yeah, and Bones, as he walks by, gives him that look. I told you about Bailey. He's not ready for this shit.
Yeah.
Kirk tries to reach back out.
Yeah.
And he's like going, we've found that you don't understand what we're about. And it starts happening again.
Yeah, and Balok's once again, you have 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
then there's a break. Yeah. It's a commercial break.
Yeah.
That comes back, and Sulu's like, 4 minutes, 30 seconds.
You have a knowing fascination with time pieces, Mr. Sulu.
That was it, yeah. See, that's the kind of thing. Those kinds of things are happening during the episode that are really funny. So time has gone by, and they're like sweating it out. They're getting nervous. Mm-hmm. And Spock is talking to Jim. Yeah, he says, well, in chess, the checkmate, the loser loses, something like that, right?
Yeah. And he said loses. And he's like, do you have an alternative?
Yeah, it's like really short with Spock, man.
Yeah, he's very short with
And Spock almost says, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he says sorry. He just stops himself and he goes, I regret that I cannot come up with some kind of alternate action or something like that.
Yeah.
And
I could not find a logical alternative.
Yeah. And he just kind of, you can tell that Spock is about to break.
Yeah.
Because he's almost about to get emotional a little bit. So he just kind of gets back to his seat, and so it's like a very sad moment for Spock.
Yeah, and everybody is tense right now because the countdown's happening. Bones comes back on the ship, and he starts talking about Bailey. I told you about Bailey,
Yeah, really.
Yeah, and I'm going to report you about him. Yeah, and that's no bluff. The day you try to bluff me. Then there's like this pause, and people look at him. Spock looks at him. Kirk yelled earlier, like, anytime you think you can bluff me, Doctor.
I know.
And then he's like looking at Spock, thinking about chess, and then he goes, no, not chess, poker. Kirk gets this idea, not chess, poker.
Yeah. Like, you're familiar with the game, Spock?
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then he has Uhura patch him through again. And he's like, out of respect for life forms, we want to warn you that we have a device called Corbomite.
Yeah.
It is both a device and a substance. And he starts describing it, how it's not in any of their records. And
but it reminded me of Dr. Strangelove because of the Doomsday device.
Yes.
So if somebody attacked, it would basically destroy both sides.
Yeah, but he's like, it's both a substance and a device, that any destructive force set upon us would be reflected back and destroying the enemy. We've gone 200 years or so.
Yeah, without you.
With not every death has very little meaning to us, so we grow tired of your foolishness.
Yeah, and that was kind of funny.
Actually. Yeah, that was pretty funny. And Bones comes over and says, "Hey, sorry about that." And then Bones goes, for having other things on your mind, my fault. I don't know how in the devil you kept from punching me in the face.
Right.
He says this. I had to actually, to be honest, I had to rewind it a couple times to actually understand what he was saying. Then there's 1 minute left. There's like 1 minute left. Somebody says.
And then Sulu says, oh, I knew he would.
I knew he would.
And so you're saying there's a missing line there.
Yes. There's a missing line, and I'll read my note here. A line from Big Balok it appears in the trailer for the episode, where Balok goes, we grant you 1 minute, appears in the preview trailer, to which Sulu reacts and says, I knew he would, like grant them 1 minute. But there was an error, and in the finished product, Balok's line is not heard because it was apparently lost due to a dubbing editor's mistake, making it unclear what Sulu was talking about.
You
and then you assigned it
so
to.
I'm thinking when McCoy says, "I'm surprised you didn't punch me in the face," I thought that was a reaction to that line he overheard saying, "I knew he would," or something like that. I was like, going, "Huh, that's kind of weird." Maybe he's talking about the punch in the face. I don't know.
Yeah. Sue was talking about. I knew he was going to punch him in the face. That kind of thing.
Something like that. Yeah.
But it's just a dubbing error in the editing. And then Sulu goes 30 seconds. Not if anybody's noticed. 30 seconds.
Not everybody cares.
And then Sulu starts counting down. Yeah. So it goes past the time, and Kirk can breathe a sigh of relief.
Yeah, because Balok is calling his bluff.
Yes, exactly. And then Balok comes back, and he goes, "What? This is it. Razor call." And then Balok decides to they're gonna take this. They go, "Okay, we're gonna not destroy you right now. We will destroy you a little bit later." Something like that.
We would like to see the proof of this Corbomite device.
Yeah.
And then Kirk.
No, hold.
Yeah.
Hold. Let them sweat for a change.
Right.
Yeah, that was great.
And then he let him sit there for a minute sweating, and then he says, "Okay, ship to ship." And then he says, what does he say?
Request denied.
And he's this is Captain James T. effing Kirk.
That's right.
We're about to get out of this. There's hope.
Yeah. They can get him out of this situation.
Yeah, it was a good scene.
Spock gets the spooky face up again, and they get to see him talking, the alien face. And then Rand walks in with coffee. Like in the most, I think, inopportune time.
And McCoy's like, I thought all the power was out in the delicatessen.
Yeah.
What did they? No, I thought all the
power was out in the concession stand.
I don't remember.
Something like that.
And she's like, well,
cafeteria.
That's thing. No. Yeah, he's like, well, I used a hand phaser and zap.
Hot coffee. Yeah, hot coffee. So she gets hot coffee. In the futuristic styrofoam gray cups.
Was this just before Balok's? He's like, behold, another example of our power.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And so this little tiny ship pops out.
Yeah. And then he says, well, we will conduct you to the First Federation or something like that. They're going to take him to a planet so that they can then destroy the ship at that planet.
He's like, that's a pretty small ship. It's only like 2,000 metric tons.
Yeah. Another thing about tonnage and stuff, which I have no concept of. I couldn't tell you.
It's space. How come it floats? Why is there tons involved? Anyway, so there's a tractor beam, and they get a hold of
and they start pulling them away. What I was wondering is, this is the thing called the First Federation.
Yeah.
They don't mention that, in the Star Trek universe yet, that the Federation, they don't call it the Federation yet in this episode. They don't say, well, we're from the Federation of Planets or anything.
Yeah, we never see these people again.
That's why I wanted to talk to you about.
Yeah.
We never hear about this First Federation ever again.
Never again.
Ever in all the Star Trek universe.
But you figure you'd want to be buddies with this Federation because they're obviously technology-wise they're far ahead of the the Federation.
Yeah.
Our Federation, not their Federation.
Yeah. So the ship is throbbing and doing its thing, pulling them away, and it breaks to a commercial and comes back with a captain's log and the Enterprise in tow. He's thinking there's going to be a power drain on
because it's
a small ship. So they're going to use that to their advantage.
And they kind of wait for a minute, and all of a sudden Bailey says, "Hey, they've slipped away just a little bit."
Yeah.
And Spock is like, it looks like they've slipped a little, because that was the opening and evidence that they needed, that basically that there is kind of a power drain.
Yeah.
So now they're saying, okay, we're gonna try to get out of this thing.
Yeah.
So they start reversing away.
Right. They start they're gonna tug to the right or the left and do reverse and try to make it harder for them to pull them.
Right.
That's what he's working on.
So they're trying that out. And they're there's a lot of cutaways of them reacting, and then they start shaking. And you said Spock is shaking by himself, and Kirk is not shaking.
Yeah.
And it's really weird. And McCoy's
the
shaking.
Engines are overheating.
So they're shaking and stuff, and they're trying to break away. And finally,
the engines are overheating. They're 8,000 degrees, and Spock's yelling, 8,000 degrees.
Yeah.
Engines at 8,000. Engines are past the tolerating.
Yeah, they're gonna blow soon.
Yeah. That's what she'll blow. He says she'll blow soon.
Exactly.
Yeah, Spock is hilarious.
Yeah. So they finally break free.
Yeah, and the noise and everything, there's all this dramatic noise. And they're right. They break free, and you see this cool shot of the Enterprise booking off to the left, and the ship goes off.
Yeah. And the ship is dark now.
Yeah, basically loses its luminosity.
Yeah. Oh, big word, luminosity.
Well, we just did have the eclipse.
That's true.
I remember a word like that.
And all of a sudden, Bahura says, it's very faint. There's a signal going out. It's Balok.
It's a distress signal.
It's a distress signal out to what was the name of the big ship?
The Thessarius.
Yeah, Thessarius. And they're like, and Kirk makes the decision to basically go to the ship and try to help the alien.
Yeah.
And everybody's looking at him like going, "Are you sure about this?"
Yeah. He goes, "What's the mission of this ship, Doctor?"
Right.
I noticed in that second pilot episode, Kirk is short with people, cuts him off. This is right around that time period with William Shatner. He did the same thing, this Kirk character. "What's the mission of this vessel, Doctor?" "Seek out new life and civilizations."
Yeah. But he didn't say it that way.
No, he didn't. He didn't.
Seek out alien life.
Yeah.
And civilizations or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's kind of a change. I think that, this is the Bible of the show is still being developed. So some of the verbiage is not quite in line with what we hear later.
Right. And then, so Bailey sets a course to go to the ship, and then Kirk's like, we're gonna do an away party, and I want 2 people. I want McCoy to help any injured aliens, and I want you, Mr. Bailey. I feel like I owe you a look at the face of the alien.
Which I'm like going, what do you owe him, man? He has like been choking all show.
Yeah. And he saw the alien both times that Spock got him up on the screen.
That's right.
So I don't get it.
I mean, maybe they were just like in the writer's room. It's like, Bailey's going to be the guy that's going to go with Balok. So we have to figure out a way to get him on the ship. Let's just have him invite him because he's got an affinity for Bailey. So he's just going to, basically, he's under his wing, basically. You're going to help, you're going to experience this with me. Come on, kid.
Right.
So they go to the
transporter
room.
Yeah.
And they transport. Scotty's like going, "You better get down and duck. It's a little bit tight in there."
Yeah.
And so he beams them down. They get down on the ship, and McCoy like bumps his head. And I'm like, I noticed that because I'm 6'8.5" or whatever. That is my life. I was thinking if you beamed down into my basement, I would hit my head on the air handlers down there.
Yeah, or your head would be transported directly into the air handler.
I know it would have been funny if like he didn't beam down far. He didn't down far enough.
Down far enough. Yeah.
He's like his head is like stuck in the ceiling. He's like, "Oh, hey, get me down from here!" Like hanging at his feet, like dangling and stuff. So we're down inside the ship, and they kind of creep along, and all of a sudden they see this Balok dummy.
Yeah, Balok, the evil-looking alien face, turns out to be just this puppet. But I gotta admit, when I was a kid and I saw the puppet, I thought that was just the alien. I didn't know it was a puppet.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
I thought it was a puppet, but because they had to build a puppet for an alien. But then I didn't, and then it's like, oh, that is supposed to be a puppet.
And then you hear a voice off in the distance next door. It's like, "I am Balok.
Yeah.
Welcome to my ship." Yeah. And they look over, and then the I guess the curtains kind of open up, and
it's little Clint Howard.
Clint Howard.
Clint Howard's little brother.
Yeah.
Dressed up like a baby.
He is dressed up like a baby.
Yeah.
"Gentlemen, come and join me." And and he's like, "Have a seat." "No, really. Sit down. Relax."
Yeah, he's all lounging like like someone's feeding him grapes or something.
No shit.
He's like just chilling back,
And so they sit down, and they're still kind of like tense a little bit. And he says, "Please join me in a drink."
Yes. "We must talk, but first, Tranya."
Tranya. And this thing slides out, right? So these 3 glasses that are already poured with Tranya, an empty glass, and then a scoopy thing. And then they're kind of, he
gives them out. Yeah.
And he pours one for himself. And then he notices that they're not going to take a drink.
Yeah.
Because they maybe think it's poison or whatever. So he takes a drink, right? And McCoy has this react after he drinks, like, "Oh, this is good stuff."
Yeah. And then Kirk was like, yeah.
It's very good.
And Balok is like just swigging it, like he loves his Tranya.
Yeah. So they talk about, I needed to know what your intentions were.
You did a good imitation of his voice.
Yeah,
That's
he's
great.
like going, Kirk is like, what does he say? He's like, "Well, you could have just looked at our ship.
Scanned our files,
That could have been a deception as well." They talk about, I'm lonely.
He's the only one on the ship. Yeah. And the Fesarius is a giant mile-wide diameter ship, and he's the only one on.
I wonder if it's some kind of cargo ship or something. I don't know. Or it's just a big palace that he has.
Yeah, I know, right?
So he says that he's lonely. He's all by himself. And he would love to have a companion to hang out with and learn. An exchange of ideas
and cultures.
Right. And so, do you know anyone who could
Kirk
hang
said,
out
do
with
anybody would be there, Mr. Bailey? Yeah, Dolly shot on Bailey.
Yeah.
Me, sir. I'll volunteer.
Yeah.
It's like...
And then so basically...
Oh, and he goes, and don't forget, Balok goes, Earth's best.
That's right. Well, not really. I make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
And Kirk says, what? You'll find that...
Kirk says something like, no, you would benefit from someone who is not as good, and I'll get a better navigator, and everybody wins.
Yeah, everybody wins. So he says, I'm glad we could come to this decision. And he grabs his hand and gets up, and he starts talking about his ship, and he wants to give him a tour.
Yeah, so he's holding their hands, because he's just a little kid, and he's like holding their hands and walking around the ship. And
that's it.
That's the end of the episode, basically. They get a tour.
I like this episode. You know why? Because it's so simple.
Yeah, I like the simplicity of it too.
Yeah. I mean, it's like mostly on the bridge,
Yeah.
And it's kind of like this intense, like you don't know, if they're going to be a story or not. I thought they used, even though there's a lot of it felt like it was stretching a lot with a lot of reaction and shaking and reacting to what was on the screen. I thought overall, it pretty much was a great episode.
Yeah.
A lot of good character moments in there too.
Yeah, and it really showed a lot of development in the characters.
Yeah.
We got to see a lot of things of the characters.
So the next episode, next time, and I'm trying to get these out a little bit better. I've been really busy at work, so I apologize that there's been some looseness to... I wanted to go every 2 weeks, but in the next episode is going to be the Menagerie Part 1, the two-parter. And we know that is basically a retread or reuse of the cage.
That's right. You know what? That's right, because this episode took so long to get out because they're already having production problems during this whole thing. This is one of the solutions, was to do the two-parter.
Yeah.
And this is where it happens. Makes sense.
Save some money. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's what's going to happen next time.
Yeah. What's it called again? The
Menagerie Part 1.
Menagerie Part 1. Gotcha.
Yes.
And the pilot was called The Cage.
Yes.
Okay, so Menagerie Part 1 will be next time. Until then, the bar is closed. Thank you for joining us.